Hey everybody, welcome to this workshop about how to build decentralized applications and components with Jutsu. I'm here with Zahid, the CEO of Jutsu, and he will be walking through how to deploy decentralized frontends. I'm just going to kind of hop back on at the end of it, but Zahid, please take it away.
Thank you, Cameron. Hey everyone. Let me start with sharing my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Send one in the chat, like if you see, 0 if you don't see anything. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, how do I like this? Okay. Remove this so that we have more space. So first of all, thank you everyone to be here. My name is Zahid. I'm the founder of Jutsu, and we'll talk a lot about Jutsu. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now we can start. It's a technical problem. So today we'll talk about decentralized frontend and how Jutsu can make your life much simpler to build and deploy a decentralized frontend. I know that all of you are attending Account Abstraction Hackathon, and I will also show you how you can build a frontend for your account abstraction dApp. A little bit about Jutsu. Jutsu is a Web3 web IDE where you can build and deploy a decentralized frontend just from your browser. So you don't really need to install anything locally. So you don't need Rust or 100 NPM packages installed locally and then kind of figure things out and then building the app that you want to build. With Jutsu, you log in, you click create a new component, and then you start designing your component. And then at the end of after you create your component, then you can deploy it in just 1 click. So you don't have to run a bunch of command line script to kind of deploy in testnet or mainnet. So you can deploy in 1 click to mainnet and then switch network and deploy to testnet. And we also leverage the power of blockchain operating system. I hope all of you learned a little bit about BOSS blockchain operating system that makes this make it possible to build a decentralized frontend. So currently there are more than so currently we have around 600 developers who are kind of actively developing on Jutsu, building various components, and they deployed almost 7,000 components. So in Jutsu, we also have a very easy way to kind of search for a component that kind of similar to what you want to build, and then very easily you can fork a component and then you can add your own secret sauce and then build kind of something yours. The other thing people love about Jutsu is live collaboration, where if you are working in a team, or let's say you are in a hackathon and you have like 5 different participants and you want to work on same component. So if you build BOSS component locally, it's kind of not possible. But with Jutsu, like you can, all the user can basically work on a component more like a Google Doc. So like if you, most of us have experience the usability of Google Docs, where you like two or more people can kind of work on different sections. So based on that idea, we kind of build our collaboration so that people can work on different part of the components or apps. Then last but not least, we are currently working, it is in MVP, we are working on a AI code generator. So it's an AI copilot that will be able to generate the entire UI just based on your prompt. So people who are new or who are not necessarily programmer, but they have a lot of interesting idea. So they can just getting started with just more like a chat GPT. You can type like, hey, I want to build a Uniswap, and then it will kind of build a Uniswap UI for you. But we'll talk about those things later. So normally I don't like to talk too much. So let's go straight into code, and then we'll come back to the presentation. But before that, let me check if there is any question.
Zahid, we'll ask questions directly if they're key, because I know you don't see the chat, and we're also going to answer them as well.
Perfect. So then let's go to the thing we are going to build. So today, like I was thinking about like instead of showing the editor or editor itself, why not build something that is relevant to chain abstraction? So one of the challenge of Web3, those who already are working in Web3 or those who are new, like across the board, like everyone knows the one of the biggest challenge of Web3 is kind of creating a wallet and onboarding a new user. So the whole the hackathon is focused on how can we make it simple. So one of the interesting way you can make the onboarding process simple is called something called link drop. So if you, I know that Keep On have a bounty in this hackathon, and I hope you guys are using this document. They have a great document, so I will encourage everyone to just go and kind of read the entire doc, like starting from the concept to tutorial to like all these things. It's super interesting, and like everyone should really go through this doc. So I was talking about like the concept of link drop. So so if you go to the concept, then you can see like they have some explanation about link drop. So I will encourage everyone to read. But I'm a visual person, so like this is how I see a link drop is. Link drop is basically, let's say I am an event organizer, and then I want to onboard 5 other people into the event, or maybe Jutsu want to onboard 5 or 100 new developer into our platform. So today, if you want to start working, you have to have a wallet, a near wallet, and then you have to have fund in those wallets. So not everyone will have that kind of expertise, and then also to create an account and then fund those accounts. So as a builder of your app, as a builder of app, what you can do is you can kind of create those accounts, pre-fund them, and then make it available for your user. So let's say you are building a social media app, and then probably not everyone have crypto or near or knows how to create an account. So with link drop and account abstraction, you can just send a link, and then user can just go to that link, and without paying, they can easily create an account. So from the diagram, you can see the way we have to build that this mechanism is first thing, we have to create a key pair. So if any, if yeah, I don't see people's face. Like, so I don't know how many of you know how user accounts works in blockchain. So most blockchain use cryptography, and then they use a public key, private key encryption. So when you create an account in a blockchain, regardless any blockchain, so you create first two keys, public key and private key. Then you save that, you save your public key in a blockchain, and the next time you want to do any kind of transaction, you encrypt your transaction with your private key and then publish it to the network, and the network verify your signature with the public key. So always, whenever you want to create an account, you have to start with a key pair. So a private key, public key and private key pair. So the first thing we have to do is like create a key pair, and then we have to attach some deposit, so that to create an account, you will need some money. And then you also want to probably give your user some money so that they can do certain transaction. So then you add the amount of near into that call with your public key, and then push that information to the link drop contract. So every time you want to create a link drop, you will have a smart contract. So in this case, like a Keepom already hosted a Keepom contract that support link drop. So what we will do is like we'll just call that Keepom contract with a public key and deposit the near, and that will kind of create a record. So typically the record is like the public key. It's a map with public key being the key and the deposit amount being the value. So keep on contract basically keep track of all those things. And then the private key, you send it to user. So that can be a URL, or it can be a wallet address where you can pass the private key, and then whenever a user click the link, the wallet will take them to a window where they can choose their name, and then they can claim their account. And when they claim their account, it create another public key, private key pair, and then replace the older one. So it just replace the older one and create a new account for you with that deposit. So this is how basically the whole account like a drop account link drop works. Typically, if it is in live in front of me, I would ask like if anyone have any question. I'll give like a minute. Like if anyone have question, just unmute yourself and you can ask question. I don't see the questions from the chat, or maybe Cameron, if you can read.
Yeah, if you have a question, it would be best to raise your hand and we can get to you. But also, Zahid, somebody would love just a bit of a maybe clear explanation on the key management model. I'm also going to link the docs for them to check more asynchronously. But yeah,
Okay.
creating your account is something that you will go through in the demo. So it might be beneficial just to kind of hop into the demo. But I can drop the link to the account model.
Okay, yeah. So, but in like a very high level, different blockchain have different account model, but specific to Near is like a Near have kind of multi kind of access keys. So like you can have a key pair, like this kind of public key, private key pair associated with a full access key. What that mean is basically that private key can have full permission, so it can delete anything, it can add another key. Or you can also have a key pair where you can give function key access. So what that means is you can granularly like you give a permission to what that key can do. So that's kind of a very high level. But Cameron, like if you want, do you want to add more or? Should
Yeah,
we?
it's pretty straightforward. It's just, giving access to an account to perform a very specific function. For example, if I wanted to send, one near to Zahid on Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, I can kind of create a key pair or allow Zahid to, pull money from my account to perform a certain function. That's what these access keys enable. And it's pretty straightforward. But a lot of people here, Zahid, are very interested in diving into the code. I know
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you'd like to do. So that's what a lot of comments are asking.
absolutely. Don't worry. Like you will have a long ride. How many minutes do I have? Like just to before getting into.
You have another 45.
Okay. Okay, so this is maybe let me start from so if you want to follow along Jutsu.ai is kind of the main website where you can go and you can either sign in from here. So if you log out, you can sign in on launch app. So if you launch your app, so you'll be kind of a web IDE. And you can see it's very similar to VS Code, and there is a reason for that. And and this is where you'll be working most of your your time you will spend here. And you can see we have a live kind of a up preview. So anything you update, you'll get a live preview. And then more interesting thing is if you let's say sometime so we have advanced feature like autocomplete. So for example, you want to call a smart contract in near. So okay, I know that there is something in near, but what are the things you have in near? So you can see it has a very advanced information about all the function in near and what are the parameters and what are the like a function signature. So you can see we'll use some of these functions. So you can see if you want to call a near contract, the method is call, and then you pass the contract address and you pass which contract you want to call. And so you have all these different kind of information. So we will also use some of the more fundamental primitive or kind of a functionality of BOSS, blockchain operating system. One of them is social. So you'll see a social also have social is a class or function that give you access to these few different function, and you can read about what those functions do. So social.get basically if you want to read information about a profile or about a widget, so you can use that social.keys. Then if you want to store anything, let's say you are building this UI and there are some data that you want to store that you want to use from another component. So you will build one component. First of all, it is a kind of a single component architecture where each of these component is kind of a self-contained app that can run on a blockchain. And then if you want to, and then you can compose these components with each other to build a much bigger apps. I'll show you more detail later. But for the time being, so now if you want to know, if you are a beginner and have no idea, okay, so I know a little bit about I need to store something. So if you start just typing, I want to store something, so you can see okay, there is a storage object. And then you can go and check what are the different functions available in the storage object. And what they can do. Like if you want to, like this private one, like we'll use in our demo. Like if I want to store something that I don't want like any other component to have access, then I would probably store in a private storage. Then you have like all those things. Now, BOS or blockchain operating system also provide you a bunch of components to kind of make your life easier. So one of them is like, especially like if you just put like a React. So if I want to see like what are the component available, so I can just look it up. So there is a file component, infinite scrolling, IPFS, Markdown. So if I want to show Markdown, so I can just use Markdown component. So this is just to show like what are the different kind of things available in BOSS and how you can get access to. So now going back to this this link drop app that we want to build. So the first thing we already saw here, like the first thing we have to do is like we have to generate a public key and private key. So if I'll share the code, don't worry about the code, but the main thing is when inside this button click, you can see like I have a external service because this those who knows about like a encryption and creating public key or private key, it takes a little bit of memory. So most of the public key generation, private key generation kind of have to happen in a backend server. So for that, I have a node server running somewhere, and then that node server, every time I call, it will generate a new pair. So every time you will see like so this is a simple function endpoint that generate a new key pair. This is the public key, this is the private key. So here you can see like the first thing I'm doing in this function. So I hope all of you know fetch, async fetch. So async fetch, if you don't know, it is a async, it's a promise that works like node fetch, node or JavaScript fetch, where you provide the URL. So I'm making a GET request and then getting the key pair. So from that key pair, I'm building a key pair object. So this is just for later you will see just for visual purpose. So whenever I'm here, so I get the key pair. I don't know what you wanted to show, but like don't write there. So this is the main part of the app. So if we go back to this diagram, we created a key pair, and then we are calling a function in the link drop smart contract. So that's why I showed you like a near.call. So if you want to call a near smart contract, we use near.call. In the call, we pass the contract ID. So if we go here like a near.call, so you can see here what are the parameter we have to pass. We have to pass a contract name, which is a string, and then which method we want to call, and some optional parameter. So that's exactly what we are doing here. So the contract ID is the KeepOm ID. So KeepOm hosts a link drop contract that if you go to the KeepOm website, they have explanation and detail about how to deploy a KeepOm link drop contract. But in our case, we are just calling that contract. And we are saying like we want to call the method create drop. We are attaching a gas fee. This is in Yocto, like it's 10 to the power 18 or something, like it's a very small number. And then in the args, we are passing that public key and the deposit. So again, if we go to the diagram, you see like this is exactly the same thing we're doing. We're calling that function with the public key, and the deposit.
Hey, Zahid, real quick, can you just explain the concept of gas real quick? We have a lot of people who are not familiar with Web3. And
Maybe you can do it much better than me, like just, yeah.
okay. Yeah. In short, what we're really building on, what a blockchain is a very large network of computers that are all around the world. And then to ensure that there's not a lot of spam to the network, you need the validators, the entities or the people that make sure the network stays live, need to be paid. And in order to pay them, the participants in the network have to pay a fee. That fee is called gas. And everything on the network has to have this fee. On Ethereum, which is the largest blockchain and most popular blockchain in the world, the gas fees can be upwards of 30 US dollars, even more sometimes. On Near, the gas fees are a fraction of a penny. So it makes it much more accessible for people to actually build on top of. But the problem, and this is what Zahid's really showing, which is really cool, is there are ways to have other parties pay for that gas to make sure that that user experience is really good. So just like you guys probably don't pay Google to watch a YouTube video because you don't really care if, their backend is on GCP or Azure or AWS. It's the same sort of thing here. This is the whole point of chain abstraction. How do we abstract the chain away from the user? Very similar to how your cloud provider is, abstracted away from the user. And so I just want to kind of explain that concept of gas because it can be, it's a little bit new for people who aren't familiar with this. So
Thank you. Yeah, perfect explanation. So in this context, like this is the account that we want to give someone. So instead of they're paying this gas fee, kind of we are saying like, okay, we will pay the gas fee and then we'll deposit like a 0.05. So it's a fraction of it's a cent, like a cent, 5 cents, or like a so you can see like how low you can attach to a account. Another interesting thing is traditionally, let's say if you want to build this thing with Stripe model, like you want to pay for someone, what they do is like every transaction they cut like a $2 and then some percentage. So you cannot build like a scalable system with Stripe, but with blockchain, basically with account abstraction, now it is possible for builder to kind of pay gas for others so that they don't have to worry about like how to pay for a specific transaction or how to pay for a specific account. So this is like when we call this one, then it just create a entry in the keep-on contract that keep track of our public key and the attached deposit. And then the URL, so we have to send that URL to the recipient. So that part, let's go and check that part. So here you can see like when I click the create, yeah, I should. Let me know if I'm going too fast. I'll try to go a little slower. So the way we create the link is if you go to the KeepOm contract, like KeepOm documentation, so they have a very good example where it said like you pass the website address and then a wallet address. So you can use any wallet really. And then there is a link drop, and then you pass who is the paying, like who is paying for your gas, and then you pass the private key, and then the rest of the thing happen in the wallet side. So let's do that. So let's see. So like let's say we want to create maybe let's create two kind of to drop. So if we now click create, so first of all, like we have to let's deploy this. So now we are building this thing. The next thing you want to probably do, you want to deploy your app. Then, so as I mentioned, like you can deploy it in one click. So basically, you click and then it's showing some detail about like what it's going to do. So it's basically save this thing in a blockchain, and then you can just push it there. So now it is deployed. Now, this is another thing. I don't know if previous speaker, they talked about like how decentralized frontend work. So when you deploy a component in Near protocol, there are many different gateway you can access your app from. So it's kind of a censorship resistance in a way, like if one particular gateway can shut down, but then you can access your app from anywhere. So like you can see, I can access this app from Jutsu platform, but I also can access this app from near.org. So near.org is another platform who support BOSS. So you can see like you can basically access from multiple gateway. It's more if you have experience with IPFS. So IPFS have a kind of similar concept, but like that technically it's different. But so idea is you can access your app from anywhere. So now here you can see like I created a drop in the past. So like it's showing here, but like let's create two drop. So it's creating one. So you can see like it's passing this is the part where it passed the public key and the near. So you can see it here. So it's passing this one. Now I can confirm this transaction. So to confirm this transaction, I have to sign with my wallet. So this is the paying gas, like the gas and the money is coming from my account. So you can see 0.35 near. So I'm going to approve this transaction. So now you can see I have two kind of two link drop, and I had previously one. Now the question is like, okay, so we did this part where we send we created the drop, then you can now view that drop. So to view that drop, that code is very simple also. So because we know the contract that we want to call, so the keep-on contract, and then keep-on contract have a function called get drop by supply for owner. So if I'm the owner, like how many for a specific account, how many drop they already created. So I can just easily call that. So one of the other intention to show this one is like you can see near previously we used near.call, and then now we are using near.view. So some of you, I don't know if any one of you have experience with Solidity or other programming language. So view is kind of a get call. So if you want to get any information from any contract, so you use view. In Solidity, it will be like a get call, and when you want to store anything information in the smart contract, especially near, you do a call. So call is more like in Solidity, you like a put. So another important thing to remember is whenever you use near.call, that means you are saving some information in database. So I consider blockchain as a large distributed database that makes me make it easy for me to think. So whenever you do a call, then you have to pay. So every time you want to store something in blockchain, you will use call and you have to pay for that transaction, and that's the gas fee. Anytime you want to pull information from a contract or a blockchain, then you call view, and that's free. So that's like a distinction when you are building an app. You want to remember, so you don't want to call a lot of time, because every time you call, you have to pay. And you also don't want to build a app where people can just you have a function and people can just create a bot that continuously click that and drain your fund. So whenever you're creating a app, you have to remember okay, so you have to make sure someone just don't create a bot and then that bot click this button a million times, and then you end up paying for $1 million. So you don't want to do that. So this one, it's a simple component where when you type something, you can see the on input change. We are kind of taking this username, so you can it's an account name, so you can supply any account name, and then with that account name, we are calling this function that gives us how many drops that account have. So if we type my account name, Jutsu.ai.near, and then if we update, so we can see there are two, we just created 2 drops. So we can see we have 2 drops. So this is for creating a drops to getting a drops. And if you want to do more for your hackathon, probably you can use the same mechanism, and then you can build something like a ticketing system. So a ticketing system is something where when someone buy your ticket, you create a link drop, and then when they attend your conference or events, then you claim that account. So you can read more about those, but what I wanted to show is kind of a very simple amount of code that kind of help you to kind of see how you can take all these different concepts and kind of build a front end. Few other things. So there is so now let's say okay, all these things are good. You showed me some code, and then all this code are written. So what the heck, and then what I can do from here. So you might have that question, right? So in Jutsu, if you're in Jutsu, you can kind of do Command P. So again, you can just say Command P, and then it will open up a search box, and then you can search pretty much anything. So let's say I want to see a link drop. So if you search link drop, then you can see oh, there are other people who are working on link drop. Interesting. So maybe I want to see a keep on link drop viewer, or maybe I want to see other. But this is also not, it doesn't tell much, right? It's a very quick way of searching a Command P. But you know what, I want to see more detail about all this link drop. Then you can go to the search section, and then you can search link drop or whatever. If you want to build something else, you can do that. But let's say for me, a link drop, or maybe you want to search for Keepom if you are interested in building something on Keepom. So you can see there are a bunch of things around Keepom. Let's see, what is this thing this component is doing. So now you can see it. Obviously you can see the code, then you can see the preview, what is this component someone built, how it looks like. Then you can read about the components. So if they have a description, you will know hopefully they'll do a good job of writing out like what that do. So it looks like this one is a drop viewer to see all the information about the drop. So like we have two drop, right? So like it is showing one drop and this is another drop. So like we have two drops. So it basically show all the information about your drops, which is super important. If you remember from the diagram, so when you want to send your user that link, you need the private key and the information, right? So like from here. So if you remember, like you have to create this URL to kind of send them this link. So maybe you will create a simple JavaScript function that takes this private key and then build that URL, and then you will have a function to send an email to the user. So, but now, okay, so this component looks interesting, and so you can fork it, you can donate it, or some, like if you like to help this builder, you can do that. But like you can copy this code, copy this component, and you can also open it in a browser, and you can explore. But most of the time, maybe you want to build this kind of app. Like this is the app you want to build. So you can, of course, you can click fork, or you can just press dot. So you can press anywhere dot, and then when you press dot, it just take that component right into the code. So this is more like GitHub. So like if you want to open it, I don't know how many of you know, like you can go to any repo in GitHub, and then you can just press dot, and then it open up the repository in a VS Code. So kind of that kind of mechanism here. So now you just fork that component, and then you can go through the code. So what they're doing, and then you'll see a lot of like a similar familiar thing like they will do. So like you can see like this app also calling near.view, and then getting all the drops for that owner. And then you'll see how they're kind of building this table. So like here, building up the table, and then sorted by user. So like so you can go through all this code and kind of modify. And then if you want to deploy this thing, let's say I don't know, like let's change like let's just cheat. I can just come here and then find this name, and I can say like a drop from Jutsu drop. So I can just say like you can see there, and then now you'll be able to deploy it in your account. So sometime you want to do that, like the idea is more like reusing other people's work. So you can take a component that's kind of similar to your idea, and then you want to fork it and extend on that idea. On the other side, sometimes maybe you want to just directly use that component, and maybe you found a bug in that component. So then if you want to kind of propose a change or fix the bugs, and then let's say I fix something, maybe I say like I fix this bug. So I fix this bug, save this thing, and then I'll be able to create a pull request. So pull request is kind of a similar like the GitHub Hub. So this pull request will send a message to the owner of this code, and then they can check your changes, and then they can merge. So the benefit is sometimes there are some component you will find like a lot of people use those components. So if someone find a bug and fix it, the owner fix it, then that fix goes to everywhere. So it's like a being a good person. Then what else? Now another question can be, okay, so like all these things are nice, but how do I know what are the things I can do? So for that, you can so you can find this community kind of a documentation. So we have a documentation library where it's mostly community oriented. So like people write these docs. And you can see like if you want to learn about how to call a smart contract, you can read this one. If you want to access third-party API, so this is a great example of like someone build these apps where they get the price for those currency, and then it looks like Bitcoin is 41 more than $41,000 now. So and then they have a step-by-step, like every single step explanation and the code. So this is the code and this is the code explanation. And then you can change this code and kind of experiment with that. And ultimate goal is to kind of learn to build this kind of component. I already showed the pull request. So this account don't have a pull request, but if you have a pull request, it will show up here. So if someone kind of create a pull request for your component, you can review and merge it. And then if you create a pull request, you can see the status in the history. The other thing is live collaboration. So live collaboration right now, it's not available for everyone. It will be more like a premium feature, but like the idea is very simple. As I mentioned, like let's say I'm building this kind of link drop or bunch of project with 3 other friends. So all of us can collaborate on the project. So that's the idea of kind of a link drop, mostly towards
Hey,
like
Zahid. Real quick, can you tell people where they can find the near faucet? And also, somebody's having a hard time searching components within Jutsu.
components within Jutsu, like
Just
yeah,
a search bar. Yeah.
yeah. So like you can just go search and like search. But okay, so 2 things, right? So where we can find faucet and then where to search. So for the faucet, like what I typically do, like you can just go to test my near wallet, testnet.mynearwallet. So this is a my wallet testnet. So if faucet is normally available for testnet, that's the first thing, right? So then you can just create a new account, and every time you create a new account, you get like a $500, $600 or $700, something like that. So that's the easiest way. And I think there is another place called Near Names. I don't know. I don't remember their testnet, but like that's another way. The last way will be just come to the either Discord, near Discord, or the Telegram channel, and then ask there. Someone will probably send you token there. So typically for me, whenever I do something in testnet, I'll just create an account. So and you are building an account abstraction app, so you don't even have to go there. So you can basically come here, and this part of the code. So where is the part where we create a drop? So you can basically create an account, your account, so like a bunch of account, and then send money to your account. You can do it in free in testnet, but in mainnet you cannot do, like you have to pay for it. But if you need, you can build your own faucet. So that can be a fun little project where you create one account and then dynamically generate 5 accounts and transfer this fund to that account. So then one account have more fund. So it's like a fun project for hackathon. Now about searching. So if you go to Jutsu, I think so if you click the editor, then the search box, what we want to search, like a key poem. So it should show up. So I don't know what kind of problem that person have. Maybe if you can come and ask me that question directly, I can help you. Otherwise, like it's working. So this is the live. It's production, so it's nothing. Like I'm not showing demo from locally, so everything is working there.
Hey, Zahid, has Jutsu implemented Keepom to give people a funded wallet, but only to deploy components via Jutsu?
That's in our roadmap. So
Okay.
it will be in a few weeks. Yes.
Is this something that people here might be able to contribute to?
Yes. Like I'd say like have fun with like creating this kind of account, and then so Cameron mentioned something really interesting. That's kind of it. So there are different concepts. Let me go to the documentation. So if you go to the kind of the concept section, so you can see there are different types of drops. Like I would highly encourage people to read all of the different types. So the type of things I showed is the simple one, right? Where you fund other people to create a wallet or do some transaction. But you can also create a trial account. So Keepom have a mechanism to create a trial account. There, this is trial account. So if you read about trial account, so this is similar mechanism, but with trial account, you can create an account and you can say like, okay, this account can only use the fund I give into a specific thing. So let's say in Jutsu, whenever you in the future when you sign up in production, so probably you'll also so you'll go to Jutsu, and then let's go to Jutsu sign out. So when you are here, when you are don't have a login, so you'll see login, right? So in login, you can see like there are two mechanisms to login. If you have a wallet, you can go use wallet. But if you have a GitHub, I hope like most developers have GitHub. So then you should be able to log in with GitHub. So you can see like I logged in with my GitHub account. And in the future, whenever you like imagine a scenario where like we want to help developer to kind of build and deploy without kind of needing them to get near in production. So we will kind of fund their account. But when you fund them, we also want to make sure you can only use those funds for deploying your component or donating someone component, just deploying your component, or kind of creating pull requests, those kind of things. So that's something you can build with trial account. So trial account is an account you create, similar like link drop, but you also specify like, okay, these are the function you can call. So if you read the documentation, like I will highly encourage. So here you can see like they're saying like you can call only these two smart contract, and then you can call any method from that smart contract. But you can also just say like, okay, you can only call this guest book smart contract and only can call view function or something specific function. So it can be really granular. So imagine you are building a decentralized YouTube, right? So people who, let's say you have a membership section, right? And then every time so member like pay you in fiat or something, then you give them a specific amount of token, and then you want them to spend that token in your YouTube, where other people create video and then they sell video. So they can use that token to buy those video. They cannot just go and use that token and sell it to a third-party market. So if you want to restrict them, sometime you need to, then you can use trial account. Trial account is a really interesting concept. You should definitely build something on trial account. And if you have more technical question, I'm happy to answer. The other way will be So Discord, I know that there is a Discord channel. If you can find me, just send me a message in Discord if you have a technical question. I will try my best to answer. We have some Jutsu team member. They're also in Discord. They'll probably help you if you have any question around building components, account abstraction, KeepOn. We work a lot with KeepOn, so we probably can answer a lot about KeepOn. And regardless, like any technical question, I'll be happy to answer.
Yep. There is a few support channels. I've dropped them in the chat. And if anyone has any other questions for the hackathon, there's abstracting.org/manual, and there are a wide variety of resources there. There's an entire resource page. So definitely check that out. Additionally, Zahid, if you do have more time, it would be great for you to walk through what it's like to actually fork a component.
Okay.
And then sort of change something in it and then deploy it, because these are just, by the way, everybody, like if you don't build via these boss components, and Zahi, can you pull up near.org? I just want to like very clearly highlight what a boss component is. So yeah, this is near.org. This is the main Near website. All this is actually pulling data from the Near blockchain. And if you click like the Near, just the homepage, nope, yep, that. Everything here, like the near horizon, the search function, the news feed, the everything, these are all components. And so you can very easily just fork one of these components and embed it into your site. And all of this data is stored on chain. I think one of the very important question to answer is, why do you want this information stored on chain? Because yes, this all can just be in your own database, but it's very beneficial on chain. So you can actually start very easily deploying new Web3 based apps. And a big part of this decentralized app issue is these decentralized apps are not that decentralized. A lot of the front ends are still deployed on AWS or through Netlify or something like that. And so the main benefit of on-chain components is around composability, which means you're able to take one component and very easily apply it in another use case. For example, if you did not want to go and create another decentralized exchange yourself, but might just want to have a decentralized exchange in your app, you can just take the decentralized exchange component and embed it into your app, rather than having to fork the initial contract and all the backend. All the backend is still calling, you're still pulling, you're still making transactions on another chain. This decentralized exchange example can be using an application on Ethereum, on Polygon, on another blockchain, but the front end is stored on Near. And so the whole vision here is to decrease the barrier of entry for new, like MERN stack developers to be able to fork these components without having to build all of the backend stuff. And so, yeah, I just wanted to flag like this is why this is cool, because before you would have to have written all the contracts yourself and then get the security reviewed and the whole bit. Now you just have to fork the component. So the goal here is to teach you how to build new components. So I just kind of want to make that crystal clear if it wasn't. And yeah, I'll drop the recording on Discord later.
Okay, so this question about the testnet. So testnet, unfortunately, testnet is not, the indexer is not working. So that's why none of the components are showing up in testnet. So someone was trying to use testnet. So I would say like a switch to mainnet if you can. If you need a account, reach out to Cameron or me. Like we can create you a Near account in mainnet. Is there any other burning question that I can answer? Oh, regarding the forking. So with Jutsu, so forking is literally you come here and you search for, let's say, trial account. If someone some good soul build something. Okay, second trial. So I don't know what that is. Let's see. So this is how I will work, right? So like I will go and browse different components, and then I'll see a little bit of code. And then if you want to fork and reuse this component, all you have to do is press dot or just click fork. And then when you click fork, so it will open that component into the editor. So this is the code for that editor, for that component. Now you can add more things. So like they have this 3 currency, but I don't see, they don't have it in here. So let's add near. And then the near price was, I forget what was the price of near. So the near price was like, let's go like, yeah, I don't remember what was the price, right? So like, this is why like the learning section is. So like, go to the learning section, and then there was, this is near. So the near is 3.02. So now we can come back to our fork component, and we can say this is now 3.12 or something like that. So 0.000. And then we have to find the coin, the near image. So, but for the time being, for our simple thing, now you can see the near is here. So now let's find the images of coin, our coin. So our coin is near. So let's see. Like go their web. Unfortunately, their website is okay. So now the way you will get the near is near, and then I can come here and then kind of open the copy the image address, and I think that will be the image address. So you can see now near is here. So this is how like I will kind of work. Let's say if I'm building a DeFi app and I want to add more currency avalanche, like then it will be literally like going to the CoinGecko, and then let's add another one. Let's add Polygon. So Polygon, the price is price this one. So I will just add, I'll copy this section, add another one, and Polygon, the price was 0.79. And then let's copy the image address, 0.79. So I will update the price, 0.79, like, and then update the image. So now you can see the polygon is here. So this is how like a building a boss component is super easy. You can take someone else's component and then kind of build on top of it. You don't need to start everything from scratch. And now I can just deploy this thing as my own component. So then it will be in your own. So there is another thing, like you can see also the profile, it will show you more detail. You can go to nia.org for more details. So like if you want to learn more about different apps. So, and then if you want to fork any one of them, so let's say I want to fork this NFT marketplace in Jutsu. So you can just come, if you remember, command P, NFT marketplace. So this is the NFT marketplace, and then NFT marketplace will be here. So like a NFT marketplace. Oh, sorry, MARKT. So this is NFT marketplace, and you can just fork, just clicking here, it will fork the component. So where did it go? Go back. NFT marketplace.
Looks like somebody needs to build a marketplace component. No, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, so like and just you can just now you have the NFT marketplace, right? So that's like that's super easy. So then if you are a NFT, imagine like you want to build a marketplace, NFT marketplace where people can buy using their credit card. So you connect your Stripe account where they pay you fiat, and then you convert and pay, because to mint a NFT, you have to pay a near token, native token. So you can build that mechanism using account abstraction where your user pay in fiat or any other currency, and then in your platform, you kind of give them a credit or convert them, and you pay on behalf of a user. So that's the beauty. Like today, when you go to YouTube, like Cameron mentioned, like when you watch a YouTube video, you don't pay, but someone is paying for that computation. So in this case, like Google is paying for that. And if you want to build that kind of service, that kind of experience, you will need to know account abstraction and use a lot of different mechanism that account abstraction use.
Hey, Zahid, real quick. I want to make sure everyone's aware of this template bounty that exists. And
Where is
so if you, I could send it to you on check the chat if you can. You might have to stop sharing screen. Maybe I could send it to you via Telegram. But in short, what this is are their templates. So for something like Stripe, you can just take the template, and instead of having to, integrate with their API or anything like that, you are just using the Mint-based template for your app. Actually, Zahid, if you could check the chat, this chat or Telegram or
this
I
one,
mean,
right?
no, no, no. So this is where the bounties live. But what I was actually sending before is the
Okay, let me stop my share and then.
yep, this template right here. This link.
Okay, let me share my screen now. This one, right?
Yes. So these are all different one-click deploy dApps essentially. So you can have an AI chat essentially embedded into your app. You can have a minter. There's even that Stripe example that you talked about, Sahid, is an existing template that you can just sort of embed. So how many of you, Zahid, I love when you do this at workshops. How many of you have created one too many login pages? Like, or Zahid, you do it. You could,
Yeah, so like one of the challenges, like so this online thing is like I don't see anyone faces, but normally I like to ask this question, like imagine like this year, like if you build any app, how many times you build a login a UI component just to log in. Probably like I made like probably 10 times, 10 different apps. Like every single app you build, like you kind of start from scratch and all this component. But this kind of reusable template or reusable component. So the reusable template is wonderful. So this is like wonderful. It's giving you like a Git repo. I would say like spend, if you are a hackathon, if I'm doing the hackathon, I would probably spend more time on this marketplace really, because the difference between this template and a app in when you search is that this one is working. You don't have to write anything. You just like literally fork it like this thing, and then it's already deployable. But for template, which is nice, like you don't have to start building like a Stripe integration from scratch like this. but you have to run a local server. You have to deploy somewhere in Barcel. They probably deploy it somewhere, but that's the mechanism. So, but I like the templating library where they give away like the code, so you have all the components you need.
And you can make money for this hackathon by building new templates.
Okay.
So that's the bounty, just to be clear.
Mhm.
So Zahid, you might want to build some templates, make some no. But yeah, I'll drop the bounty again in the chat for everyone to check out.
For me, I wish like I have a little bit more time. Like I have more time to but yeah, I think this is great. So I will encourage anyone to kind of those who want to work on the template and NFT, check this link, Minbase. Those who want to work on account abstraction and kind of those who are really interested in backend and want to utilize the power of blockchain operating system, go check the Keepom. They have a lot of things you can do. Like they have all this concept you can like just from these few concept you can build non-fungible token drop, fungible token drop function call. Like you can build a lot of things from here. And then if you need to build a UI, just come to Jutsu and start building from scratch. This is more like a React, and I already showed you we have advanced intelligence. So it will be guiding you each step of your journey. So if there is a function or if there is an object in near protocol, so it has an inline documentation. So I know you can go to another great place regardless of this one. I would say you should go is like a docs.near.org. So this documentation is super useful. So if you want to, someone ask about account model, right? So just go and read these are all the different account model near provide. This is the explanation of public key, private key that I try to explain. So this, if you remember, full access key, function key. So the documentation explain a lot about everything you need to know. So the access key. So what we did in our example is basically utilizing those concepts and we just rely on those concepts and then created call that keep on contract, created a link drop, and then the other one we showed okay, when we create a link drop, we can also access those link drop and then share with our user. So utilize whatever level of knowledge you have. So if you are very new and then you don't have a lot of technical background, go build a template. But also remember, when you're building template, because it is relatively easy, probably a lot of people will do this. So one of the thing I always do in hackathon is I try to find that balance. I want to build a project where it will be not easy enough that there will be another 100 similar project. Then imagine judge have to think about okay, there are 10 different people do the same thing versus you build something relatively unique with some relatively advanced technology keep on all these different concepts, and then probably there will be one or two people build something like that. So then your competition is less, but you have to think what you can do. And based on my experience from doing a lot of hackathon is at the end of the day, you want to have fun. So have fun, learn something new, and submit. So you cannot imagine how many people will work until 28 and then they will hesitate to submit their project, and then 30th or next month, they'll feel like, oh, that project, it's like my project was better than that. Why didn't I submit? So don't regret, work on something. Still, 1 week is kind of enough time. If you can put like 2 to 3 hours a day to kind of win a bounty and submit a hackathon. I'll stop my sharing my screen, and then if you want to talk.
Yeah, by the way, Zahid, thank you so much for doing this. It's late our time in California, so really appreciate you coming out and doing this. I hope everyone here learned something. I really love about learning about blockchains is how many different parts of computing you really need to understand for this whole thing to come together. So if you're primarily a MERN stack developer, we understand that some of this stuff might be new to you, like public-private key cryptography and distributed systems, but I cannot stress the importance of learning about this stuff because it's going to be applied in a lot of different parts of your engineering career. And Zahid, I'd love to hear a little bit more just about your career path too, because you did not start in Web3. I think it's important for everyone here to know like what kind of led you to get to this point and what you would recommend for people who are kind of just getting started or kind of mid-level in their programming career.
Okay, so first of all, I'm originally from Bangladesh, so it's not far from most of you. So I grew up in Bangladesh and kind of did my bachelor and then studied in Sweden. So my journey was back-end engineer, then worked a lot with building a lot of complex system, but like a last 6-7 years, like I was building a more AI system, machine learning system, when machine learning was not that kind of a hype like now. So one of my expertise is kind of building large scale data systems. So imagine like a streaming platform, like 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 a Netflix or something, like managing those kind of stream of data. So those kind of platform that like I worked on a lot of those. But recently, last 3 years, I spent time on building climate risk prediction model. So to predict climate risk. So you can see like I did not have like a traditional Web3 background. So I came from more like a computational background where I built a lot of machine learning system. And one of my main reason for coming to Web3 is the belief of like the intersection of Web3 and AI. So if you think about like what Web3 does for me, it's more like the ownership. So in Web3, you kind of build a mechanism where you can own your data and you can choose to share with others or not. And then the mechanism of trusting something without trusting a central governance or a specific person. So imagine like a 5 of you among your friends, if you have to decide for where you want to maybe eat your dinner, it will be a really tough choice. Like it's hard to get a consensus. But the idea of blockchain, where you can program, you can code a ethics or a formula that will decide the consensus mechanism. So if everyone pay that much, or like if we are in this place, like that will be the place we'll go for dinner. So algorithmic decision making without trusting a single source. So those kind of things kind of led me to come to Web3. Then I found the developer experience. Like when I came from Web2 background, and then building on Web3, the developer experience was not great. So that's why I started Jutsu, kind of making the developer experience super easy, where you don't have to worry about like installing 100 different library. You don't have to worry about Rust. You don't have to worry about like VS Code extensions. So that's the main motivation for me to kind of build Jutsu. So like make super easy for anyone to kind of come and start building. And the last thing is now I'm trying to combine my AI knowledge and kind of building a mechanism where you can collaborate with AI to build your front end. So you don't have to necessarily write code. My hypothesis is 5 to 10 years from now, where human are not going to type the code line by line. So as a human, we'll collaborate, we'll pair program with a copilot, and then the copilot will write the code, we'll give them instruction, we'll guide them. So that's like how I see kind of the future like of Web3, where there is the intersection of Web3 and AI, and that's where I'm super excited. And final thing I want to mention, like if I can do it, everyone in this call can do it. So like you just have to like do the work. So one of the interesting thing I learned, because someone told me like everyone want to go to heaven, but no one want to die. So you have to do the work for the thing you want to achieve. So if you want to be a Web3 developer, best developer in the world, you have to work hard and participate hackathon. And reach out to me, like don't worry, like if you can share the Telegram channel, like that's one way to find me in LinkedIn, maybe. Let me share my LinkedIn or Twitter if anyone.
I got it, Raymond.
Perfect. So like just
Keep going.
connect there.
Great. Well, thank you, Zahid. On that note, very inspirational. Really appreciate the time you've taken. We will be active in the Discord for the next couple of days. Hopefully after as well. This is a really great community. I've really enjoyed connecting with a lot of you. I guess lastly, the video will probably not be uploaded until tomorrow because I'm locked out of one of my accounts and need to get that opened. But we will have it tomorrow, and we'll drop it as in the Discord as well, and probably follow up an email. I would highly recommend everyone subscribe to Jutsu's email newsletter that will be dropped in the future. But just want to kind of flag, stay in touch with these people. Really cool what they're building. And there's a lot of ways for you to get involved. So yeah, just submit to the hackathon. This is just the beginning, and we'll connect in Discord. Sahid, is there anything else you want to end with?
No, thank you, Cameron. So for your invite. I love the community. So let's continue.
Great. All right, everybody. Have a great day or a great night wherever you are, and talk to you soon.
Bye.